you guys need to cut out the carbs and eat less than 1,500 calories a day. The diabetes diagnosis really scared me from a standpoint of just overall healthiness. I never felt better. I don't really feel tired during the day, and I used to feel tired all the time. When you try to talk to other people about it, there's a lot of skepticism. It's hard for them to say it doesn't work, but they're not willing to consider it a thing. Oh, you're eating real butter? I mean, I've been taught that real butter is bad. I do still try to embrace some fasting in my schedule, even 72-hour fasting if I can find a time to do it. It scared me enough to click something in my brain that really made me want to change.
Hey folks, it's Dr. ShawnBaker here. Hey, if you or someone you love is suffering from chronic disease and you're tired of just managing symptoms with potions, pills, and procedures, I want you to check out Revero.com. Our team of dedicated professionals is committed to tackling the root cause of your issue and finally getting you healthy. Hurry up though, our spaces are filling up very quickly. Welcome. Today we have a guest whose name is Shawn, same as me. So it's good to have some solidarity in the same name, I suppose. But anyway, Shawn, maybe just start out by just telling us a little bit about your background, if you don't mind.
I've lived in San Diego my whole life. I grew up here. I've worked in the IT field for 30 years now, so very much sit around a lot. Not a lot of activity for my work situation. I don't have I have two basically grown up kids of my own. I'm married, divorced, and then remarried more recently, 2 years ago. And my current wife has one also grown up child, son. We about 2 years ago, we went for a physical checkup, and neither of us had actually had that happen in quite a while. And I, at the time, I was much larger than I am today, about 350 pounds at the time. And she was more worried about me. I was not worried about me, but we found out she actually had an A1C of 14. So we realized that we needed to make some changes. And that was really what sparked everything for us to go down this journey to eventually end up where we're at today.
Okay. And so obviously health not where you want it. How heavy did you say you were? You were what weight?
I was about 350 pounds.
350. Okay. So
yeah,
clearly,
this was March of 2024.
Okay. What are you now, just out of curiosity?
175.
Well, you cut yourself. That's exactly half.
Yeah.
Wow. In a year. That's amazing. Golly, goodness. That's quite impressive. Yep. Okay. So you're obviously significantly overweight. Your wife clearly has diabetes with A1C of 14. When you found those things out, what was the advice given to you? I assume you went to a standard physician, perhaps.
Yeah, we just went to basically a family practice doctor that we had found in town, and we were both new to him. And his advice to us at the time was cut out the carbs. I mean, that was the first thing he said is, you guys need to cut out the carbs and eat less than 1,500 calories a day. That was basically what he said, and that's really where we started. We started counting calories, trying to, but I should back up a little bit. The first thing I did is I took a bag around the house and threw out all of the junk food. I mean, that was the A1C, the diabetes diagnosis really scared me more than maybe it needed to, but it did scare me quite a bit. And so we went around the house. We got rid of all of our junk food. Um, it wasn't a popular decision at the time, but we did it. And so that started our journey, and I think that helped quite a bit. I kind of decided that in order for me to help her with the diabetes, I was going to do whatever it took to do. I was going to do the same. I was going to eat the same food. I was going to eat do the same whatever we ended up doing at the time. And um, I knew I was overweight. Obviously, I knew I could stand to lose some weight. I thought maybe I'd lose 40 or 50 pounds. I didn't really think I'd lose as much as I did. Um, but that's really what started it for us. And we really did stick to that 1,500 calories for about a month. And then we kind of went down the road of, what is this keto thing going on? There's a lot of people talking about it. When you start following diet advice online, you see a lot of diet advice. You see a lot of people that say, cut the carbs, cut the sugar, eat more, eat less. You just see a lot of different advice. And so about a month or two into it, we started really going down the keto road heavily with low carb everything, no carb as much as possible. And one of the things that for me was an interesting thing was the fact that you could always eat as much meat, or at least you could eat meat and not consume any carbs. And so we started getting real heavily into meat, eggs. We started using real butter, no grass-fed real butter, I would say. We started learning as much as we are learning about, seed oils, and going through our cabinets and still finding things we never really got rid of and getting rid of more. Eventually ending up where we ended up today, which is essentially carnivore with a little keto mixed in once in a while.
Okay. So, you obviously had a lot of weight to lose. Your wife has pretty severe type 2 diabetes, I would assume, with that high of an A1C. How did, and you said it was an unpopular decision to remove the junk from the house. Was it just are the kids in the house too? And they were
my wife's son lives with us as well. He's 27.
Okay. So and he cut out the junk as well, I assume.
He did. Yeah, he did. And he actually, at the time this all sort of started, he also was trying to lose weight as well. He was just doing it by a lot of cardio, he was actually doing a lot of protein shakes, trying to just do it that way. And he was having in my opinion, mixed success on doing it that way, but he started seeing what we were doing and also adopted the keto part of it, and still eats that way as well. So and he's actually had a lot of success with it as well. So the three of us in our household all eat the same at this point, and have had success with it in all areas.
Okay, so 3 for 3 on a low carb keto carnivore diets, driving success in y'all's household. So that's pretty good. That's a good track record for there. So let me ask you, because obviously you probably assumes you probably eaten meat your whole life. You're 350 pounds. Obviously, dropping down to essentially carnivore shows that the meat wasn't responsible, or certainly it helped turn things around. Yeah. What When you went low carb initially at the behest of your doctor and said eat 1,500 calories a day, how was that going from? I assume you ate more previously. I would assume you were eating quite a bit more food and calories. How did
Yeah, we
appetite
never
play into this?
really.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. We never really kept track of what we ate most of the time, but looking back on it, it's easy to see that we definitely were not eating healthy portion sizes, healthy food. Really, I mean, yeah, we ate some meat. We ate a lot of the same foods we eat today, but we also ate all the other junk with it that we don't need. So, of course, there was definitely some certain foods that, especially like sugar and things like that, that were harder to give up. But me personally, I don't miss them that much. I feel like after you don't have them for a while, you definitely your mindset kind of changes, and that's really where I feel like I am at it with it at this point.
Now, aside from weighing literally twice what
Yeah.
you weigh now, I mean, I would imagine that excess weight probably came with some other comorbidities,
I'm,
either sleep or, I mean, maybe you can describe what other health issues you might have potentially
yeah,
had.
yeah, it did. I had some pretty bad arthritis in my knees. I even had a point where I went to urgent care because I just couldn't stand the pain, and they took some X-rays, and that was the first time I really thought, "Oh, this is pretty bad." And my doctor was going to send me to an orthopedic surgeon. All around the same time, the weight loss really started, and I ended up from the weight loss and the diet change itself. Um, the arthritis is pretty much all but going away. I've pretty much had no issues um, since then with really a lot of knee pain or anything along those lines. I'm not sure how I avoided it as long as I did, but I somehow did. But I haven't needed to follow up on that, which is a good thing. And then as far as other health issues, I've always had psoriasis. Psoriasis is something I've been struggling with for probably since I was about 25. I'm 51 today. Um, and I've been on various medications, a lot of biologics, Skyrizi, Stelara, all those that you hear about. More recently, I've been on one called Bimzelx, and I feel like I am pretty much going to be able to get myself off of everything from psoriasis. I don't have any where it's really noticeable anymore, and I haven't. The last dose of the Bimzelx that I took was about I want to say about 2 weeks ago, but I was gonna wait till I had followed up with my dermatologist and see if I can just stop taking it and see what happens. Um, but that's the main kind of chronic issues that I had. I definitely feel like from a standpoint of just overall healthiness, I never felt better.
Let me just interrupt you here if you don't mind.
Yeah,
So again, with the biologic drugs, the Stelara, the Skyrizi, the new
yeah,
one, had that ever given you complete relief of your psoriasis, or was it
no.
only until the diet kicked in that you saw complete, or
It was
essentially
only
complete
until the
relief?
diet kicked in.
Yeah, because I can see the provider saying, "Well, you're on this new drug and it's finally kicking in,
Hmm.
and this is why we need to keep you on it." And you can say, "Well, look, I've been on a new diet, and that's had the biggest impact." I mean, it sounds like that's the case.
It is,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, okay. And as far as the joint pain going away on your knee, when did you notice that occurring? Was it not until you lost all the weight, or did it start happening quite a bit earlier than that?
It started happening early on, especially after I started cutting out the carbs,
Yeah.
completely cutting out the carbs, really with keto. It was, I had my good days and my bad days for a while. I feel like the weight loss is a big part of it. But I also do notice that if I eat something I shouldn't, which I try not to as much as I can, um, I do notice that I get a little pain in my knees all of a sudden, and so it's I definitely attribute a significant amount of it to the diet change.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, certainly when you reintroduce foods and you get the same symptoms back, it becomes
Hmm.
pretty obvious that diet has an impact there. Um, so you're now like literally half the size you were. Are you working? Do you work in an office? Are you working remotely? How does it? And obviously, people had to have noticed, basically shrinking by half.
Yeah, I work at home. I work with a global team, so my team isn't. There is a headquarters office in San Diego that I could work from if I wanted to, but my team is none of my team members are local, so it doesn't really impact that all that much. But yeah, I have had quite a few comments about the weight loss part of it, especially because it is the most noticeable. And I have other coworkers that I work with that are doing other things. I think one of them's doing like Manjaro or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he lost about 60 pounds and then kind of couldn't lose any more after that. He was in the same weight range as I was to start. But yeah, I mean, I unfortunately do work a fairly um, stationary job,
Mm-hmm.
sitting on a computer, typing a lot, moving my mouse around. Doesn't give me a lot of exercise. So I've been trying to figure out ways to get more exercise. That's one of the big changes I've also noticed is that I actually don't mind exercising anymore. It used to feel like I had to really force myself to do that, and I just don't anymore. I just want to. So even going out for a walk or going, we have an elliptical in the house that we use quite a bit as much as possible. Um, I was for a little while. I was going to the gym with a friend of mine. A gym that was his. It was fun, but I don't think I really knew how to use a gym effectively. So it was one of those things where if I would have had some help, probably would have been more effective. And I haven't stopped, but I haven't been making a huge effort to go.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of benefit to activity, as you probably noticed, and the
Hmm.
fact that you actually feel better enough to do that is
Yep.
it leads to this sort of positive success cycle, I suppose. Let me just your wife's A1C of 14 has that improved significantly?
Yeah, it has actually. Her last A1C, which was January,
Mm-hmm.
was like 5.2.
5.2, and she's eating the same as you, basically
Yes.
basically a
Yes.
carnivorous diet. Wow, that's awesome.
Yep.
Um, do you, as far as, oh, so you being 350 pounds at the time, you got a buddy that's on these GLP-1 drugs and
Uh-huh.
Mounjaro. Was that something you had considered at one point?
No, actually, I never did.
Mm-hmm.
I know even our doctor never even suggested it. I mean, I always thought. I mean, I can't. I have to admit, I had thought about it in the back of my mind, like I wonder how that would be. But I've even before I started down this journey at all, I started reading a lot about some of the negative problems, especially with things like how um, people generally gain back the weight
Mm-hmm.
after they go off it,
Yeah.
and um, understanding a little more. I tend to be a little more on the self research side. I do a lot of self research of my own, being that I'm in a field where I do a lot of analysis of data and things like that. So I analyze everything very heavily. So, and that's, I attribute some of that to the success as well, because I learned through, not just through all of the data I found online, but I've, I started following you, I started following Ken Berry, I started following Robert Kilt, listening to just a lot of people in the community talk about the different, keto, carnivore things, and what really makes it work for people, how it really helps you um, suppress your, I mean, I don't know if you want to say suppress your appetite. I know GLP-1 suppress your appetite, but in a way, I never really felt, I never really felt like the cravings for food once I finally realized, like, I wasn't eating the carbs anymore. I wasn't eating the, you know, the, I wasn't there. I mean, I wasn't like, I need to go get lunch. I need to go get dinner. Again, I do kind of keep myself to an eating schedule, if you want to call it that, but it's more around my work schedule and when I have availability. It's not around when I feel like I'm gonna starve if I don't go get something to eat. And that's a big part of it, in my opinion, as well. And I feel like when you're just doing calorie in, calorie out, figuring, eating the rice and the potatoes and all the other stuff that a lot of people want to still eat, I feel like you're just always wanting more of that. And I feel like with meat especially, it was almost like a big discovery to me that, wow, okay, I can eat meat until I am satisfied, and I'm not like, I'm not like hungry later. I don't feel like I want more food, and if I did, I could just eat more meat. And it's, I don't know. It's kind of it's kind of a weird thing. I never really thought I'd be going down, but it happened, and I'm here and not planning on going back.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with the results you're getting, it's got to be pretty encouraging. How has that impacted you, productivity wise, mentally, mood wise, that type of stuff?
It's been good. I mean, it's been really good. I have I definitely feel like there's an amount of what everyone refers to as brain fog that I have realized that I had, and I never noticed it till I didn't have it. Um, and But mentally, I feel like great. I don't feel tired. I mean, I feel like I sleep good, and but I don't really feel tired during the day. I don't, and I used to feel tired all the time. Um, but quite a change, I would say. As far as, I hope to think that my productivity is better. I don't know that it is, but I'd like to think it is. I definitely have more energy to do things around the house, which is popular with my wife.
I can imagine. So, now your wife obviously has basically put her diabetes in remission. Have either of you guys followed back up with your individual providers to see the healthcare providers to see the just tremendous weight loss and improvements in
Yeah.
numbers? And what's been the commentary?
It's been definitely noticed. We've actually been going to our doctor about every 3 months for the last year now. So, and we have been getting blood work done. The last time, which wasn't this last time we got blood work done, but the last time anything was mentioned about our blood work or anything like that was when we first started, and one of the things was my triglyceride levels were high, which I don't remember what they were. I want to say 180-ish. I don't know if that's a high number or not. Maybe I'm way off there. But I do know that even like cholesterol numbers and things like that have not been of a concern to our physician at this point. There was I know that early on he did want her to go on to metformin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it wasn't too long after we started doing keto, especially, that she really didn't need it anymore. And she does test her blood sugar levels. But overall, I mean, it's been very positive. There hasn't been anything negative from the doctor at all.
Well, it's good to hear. It's good to have a supportive physician. A lot of folks, when they tell people that they're even low carb, but certainly carnivore, they tend to try to steer them away from that, in lieu of eating, a balanced diet with fruits and vegetables and whole grains and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Have there been any negatives that you've experienced by switching your diet to keto than carnivore? Hey, folks, it's Dr. ShawnBaker here. Hey, if you or someone you love is suffering from chronic disease and you're tired of just managing symptoms with potions, pills, and procedures, I want you to check out Revero.com. Our team of dedicated professionals is committed to tackling the root cause of your issue and finally getting you healthy. Hurry up, though. Our spaces are filling up very quickly.
Trying to think of a negative. I can't really think of anything that I would point out as a negative, other than one of the things that I'm sure everyone in this community notices is when you try to talk to other people about it, there's a lot of skepticism. And it's even funny because I'm actually I bowl with a team where one of the members of the team, he's an older gentleman. He's a type 2 diabetic, and I've been talking to him for a while now about this lifestyle, and he should try it even for 30 days, and he's just not willing to try it. But we find that even with our other family members, quite a bit of, I feel like we're kind of like, we can show that it works. We can show them that it works, between the two of us, between the health and the weight loss and everything else. It's hard for them to say it doesn't work, but they're not willing to consider it a thing. They think it's not good for you to eat meat all the time, or oh, you're eating real butter. I mean, I've been taught that real butter is bad, but we go down that road, and it is just the general consensus that people believe.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly has been the mainstream advice for the last many decades. Probably since at least the 1970s, and perhaps even preceding that, has been to cut back on animal fat and eat more lower fat, more grain, and of course the industrial oils that have sort of supplanted much of the animal fats.
Yep.
Do you find that your sort of, you mentioned cravings, appetite and cravings. Do you find that eating a lot of meat helps to keep those other desires for other foods at a minimum?
Yeah, I definitely do. That's something I noticed early on in the sort of when you know you're in ketosis, which during the phase of doing keto, I did try to monitor that. I tried to do the urine stick thing, turns red, whatever. But I feel like when I was there, and I know I was there, I definitely didn't feel like I had the cravings for food in general. I definitely did still monitor what I ate, on a daily basis. I did the phone app where I put everything into the phone app, and I wanted to see the percentage of fat and the percentage of protein and the percentage of carbs. Um, that was something I've done for probably about the last year. I've only recently stopped doing that, or tried to stop doing that, just because I'm starting to realize it's really not as necessary as it used to be. Um, I feel like once you understand the foods that you're supposed to eat, and sometimes that is a difficult thing to understand, even early on in learning even with all of the research I did, there are still certain foods that, I was surprised. Okay, oh, that's got a lot of, carbs in it, and things like that. But I've always noticed that meat in general, for one, it has zero carbs, which is nice. For two, it always makes me feel more satiated. So that always, even during the keto phase of this, I feel like that's really where my mindset was heavy on the meat. I a lot of times did add eggs to I did eggs and meat together, but it definitely I definitely don't feel when I'm not, at least not anytime recently, I definitely don't feel like the cravings for anything specific anymore, other than just, hey, I'm hungry, I'll go get some kind of meat.
Yeah, it simplifies. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it
like
does simplify things for sure.
It's not complicated. You don't have to sit there and, calculate and add and subtract and plan, inordinately. Do you find that, so let me get back to, you said you're eating 1,500 calories at one point initially, and then you kind of abandoned that. What do you eat on a day-to-day basis? What's a daily sort of eating pattern look like for you?
Daily right now, so sometime during all of this, I did do a lot of learning about intermittent fasting. So some of the way I eat right now is still kind of left over from that. But in general, I eat lunch and dinner. I don't eat breakfast. I never eat anything for breakfast. If when I eat lunch, it'll be usually a couple of eggs, some cheese, sometimes some kind of meat. We do some meal prep on the weekends. Lately, our meal prep has been, I basically make a bag of chicken. So like this last weekend, we made some carne asada, and I just put it all out on the barbecue, let it cook, and then we have it in the fridge, and we can eat it throughout the week without even cooking it again. All we do, we just, as bad as it may sound, we either air fry it or microwave it. But that just gives us the ability to quickly go get something out of the fridge and eat it. Eggs, chicken, beef is pretty much every day. Sometimes like a burger patty, a couple burger patties on the barbecue. That's always a good one. That's always good, easy and good to make. I've been learning, and this is something that has had mixed reviews in the house, but I've been learning to cook steaks in different ways. So I've been I bought a 1,500-degree broiler, so I can basically sous vide the steaks and then put them in the broiler for a couple of minutes on each side. And they come out pretty good when I do it right. If I leave them in the broiler too long, they're a little too well done. But steaks are one of the things we are trying to ramp up on, so to speak. We we can go to like Costco. We go to Costco a lot. I don't know if I should have said the word Costco, but either way. But we go to Costco a lot and buy steaks at Costco, put them in the freezer, sometimes put them in the fridge. I've been starting to leave meat in the fridge longer. That's something I've kind of learned is like it doesn't really go bad. Like you can leave it in the fridge for quite a while and it's not going to go bad. But we are also looking into a local or not even that local of a place to buy like some bulk beef, like a half beef, or my brother and I were talking about splitting one. So there's a couple of local farms that do it here, and they do grass fed and grass finished. So seems to be a good way to do it if we can find the right farm and the right price.
Yeah, there's I think Costco is fine. I often get stuff from those guys. I think they do a good job. I know the quality they put in is incredibly high. I mean, it's really hard to get a product into Costco because the quality requirements. My wife actually provides products to Costco, and I know it's a really challenge to get in there on a quality standpoint. And I've talked to some of the suppliers that supply beef to Costco, and it's quite high standard. Locally, I know like a friend of mine, Frank Fitzpatrick up in Orange County has the 5 Bar Ranch, which has sort of a Barzona cattle, which is quite interesting. I think that, your method, that's similar to what I do. I sous vide and throw it in the broiler. I've got this probably 1500 degree broiler, which, I find that if I sous vide something at about 110 to 115 degrees, average size steak comes out pretty well when you put it in the broiler, nice medium rare. So it might be.
Yep. That's actually what I've, the last time I did it, I did it to 110. I have noticed that like ribeyes versus like a sirloin steak versus other types of steaks, like a New York steak, for example, they come out different, especially in the broiler. So there's, like I said, I'm still learning. We did invest in a larger, nicer grill. And we do, I mean, like I said, we grill a lot. I mean, we probably grill 4 times a week. And that's just like, the daily dinner situation, more or less. So yeah, I mean, I do still try to embrace some fasting in my schedule. Fasting for the most part, I don't really. I feel like there's a lot of health benefits to fasting, and I feel like there is even elongated fasting, even 72-hour fasting, if I can find a time to do it. I definitely feel after that second day, I definitely feel a little out of energy, but that's something that I been trying to keep up on, trying to incorporate like about once a month, like a 72-hour fast. And I do feel like that kind of resets your body. Like you definitely feel different when you do that. At least I do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do like the way they feel fasting, for sure. I mean, I think these people have benefits. Like I said, my always caveat for that is to make sure you don't lose muscle mass, stay active, keep moving the muscles. I mean, just from your description of a very sedentary job. I mean,
yeah,
I also have a sedentary job because I basically just talk on the computer most of the day.
Yeah.
So one of my solutions is to be standing rather than sitting.
Yeah.
And it helps a little bit, not huge, but it does have an impact. And then,
yep.
And then of course,
I do have a standing desk. I got not too long ago.
Yeah, good for you.
Which I use quite a bit. I do use it, and then I also I got a treadmill that goes under the desk, so I'm still kind of getting used to using it, but I've used it, trying to use it as much as possible.
Yeah, you can get in, whatever, a couple thousand steps a day or whatever the
Yep.
recommendation is, or some, the
Yep.
arbitrary 10,000 steps thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes a dog is a good piece of exercise because you take them for walks and stuff like that. And you obviously are in a part of the world where the weather is generally conducive to walking outside. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
San Diego's got some beautiful weather down there, so
Yep.
you can't, like the people living up in northern Alberta, and they might say, well, look, it's got 6 feet of snow, it's a blizzard, makes it more difficult. Do you find that the expense is prohibitive? Has your grocery expense gone up significantly, or is it about the same, or even less?
I don't think so. I don't think it's gone up at all. We've actually talked about this quite a bit, and I feel like the fact that we're not buying all the other stuff, we're just buying meat now and eggs, which eggs got expensive for a little while, but they're kind of coming down in price now. I feel like we're really not spending more money on a monthly or weekly basis at all. Um, we do shop. We shop, and we do quite a bit of our shopping generally once a month. And like I said, we buy when we go shopping. When my wife and I go shopping, and usually it's Costco. Sometimes it's other stores. We buy we buy the whole house. We buy for the whole house. So we're buying enough for all three of us. All three of us, we're all adults, eating about the same amount of food basically on a daily basis. And so, but even that, we don't. I don't feel like we spend more.
Mhm.
And originally, I didn't see a point in us, if we're all going to eat the same food. I didn't see a point in us going shopping separately for it. So for me, it just made sense to combine it.
Did your wife end up losing some weight too?
She
With that?
has, yeah, yeah, she has. She's lost about 80 pounds.
Okay, well, that's certainly
Yeah,
significant. Yeah, for sure. I'm sure she
yeah,
feels
quite a bit.
better. I'm
Yeah,
sure she
yep,
feels better as well. I mean, it's got to
yep,
be. Well, I guess new clothes, right?
yeah. New clothes have been a thing. I've been trying to keep it less as least expensive as possible. So Goodwill and Salvation Army are my friend. But and I've been finding I find clothes with tags on them there, and it's kind of funny. But yeah, I used to wear like a 4 to 5X shirt,
Mhm.
and now I'm wearing a large.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure. So change is
and
changing with clothes.
yeah, and large. I mean, I don't even know if I could probably fit into a medium if it wasn't for the length, because I'm 6'0". So I feel like a lot of mediums are too short, and I don't like them.
Yeah, I mean, 6 foot 175. You're probably at an ideal weight at this time. I mean, I don't know that you've got it. You probably can't. You don't need to lose any more at all. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, everyone says I look about right now. So I'm kind of I'm not necessarily trying to lose anymore. Just kind of figuring out how to maintain it.
Yeah,
Which in a weird way is like I'm not um, sure sometimes like how to do that, but I'm experimenting. So trying to eat like more protein. Like one of the things I've been doing is trying to eat more protein and less fat.
yeah.
Um, to see, for one, I know I can use to gain some muscle back. Definitely need to do that, and that's part of all of it, and just staying a little active and everything
Yeah, I
along
mean,
those.
certainly muscle will not be adding on muscle is not going to be harmful to you. Let me ask you
No,
this question because you lost 170 pounds, a heck of a lot of weight. You lost basically half your body weight. Um, Loose skin. Did you end up having a lot of excess skin that
I
you're dealing with?
surprisingly did not. I have a little on my stomach,
Mhm.
like right around here, and on my legs, and that's really it. I feel like as time goes on, um, at the weight I'm at, just maintaining, I feel like the loose skin is kind of slowly going away.
Yeah.
Um,
That's good. That's good to hear.
yeah.
So as far as, you're concerned, I mean, weighing 350 pounds, you had tried, I assume you had tried to lose weight many times in the past. Is that a fair statement or no?
Yeah, I did. And I don't know how dedicated I ever really was to it. It's hard for me to look back and say, oh yeah, I know I did. I know in the past, I had tried going to the gym, myself, got a gym membership and tried to go, 2 or 3 times a week and try to get more exercise and everything like that. But I don't know. I probably did it wrong. I mean, it's hard for me to say. I never. I always have to say, and I say this to my wife all the time. It's like when back in March when she has a high A1C. Somehow it scared me enough to click something in my brain that really made me want to change. So, and that's really what started it all. So I hope, I don't think that anything's going to change or want me to go back. I definitely don't have any desire to stop the carnivore part of it, to go back to the way I was before. And, yeah, that's, but, yeah, I can't answer the question very well that, did I try losing weight in the past? Because I'm sure I did. Did I try recently? Probably not. Probably not as much as I should have. But
Do you think it is the fact that you and your wife are doing it together, and your whole family, or do you think it's just what you're eating that's made the biggest difference?
I think it's I think that us doing it together is a huge part of it, and I think that we keep each other on track, for one, and for two, really when we started the whole thing, it was a lot of support from each other. But now I feel like it's more about the food. It's more about the food now. It's more about the choices. I mean, to be completely honest, we probably used to go out to eat to just random, Italian food, Mexican food, whatever you want to say. We'd probably go out once a week. We probably, if that, go out to eat once a month now, and that's not even an exaggeration. And when we do, we're like, well, let's go somewhere we can eat steak. Let's go somewhere we can, let's go to Ruth's Chris, or let's go to, Brazilian Steakhouse has been our go-to for a while now.
Yeah, and they've got some nice steaks there. A little pricey, it gets expensive.
Yeah.
The only problem with going out to eat steak is it's damn expensive relative to what you can cook at home. I mean, it's like quadruple to 5 times the price, I think. So
it definitely is.
I rarely go out and eat a steak. I mean, maybe try them occasionally, but anyway. Well, do you do any kind of social media stuff to talk about this, or are you kind of avoid that stuff?
I haven't yet done that. I created what I've been wanting to do is I've been wanting to create a San Diego based carnivore group, because I know there are some San Diego based carnivore people that I've seen on some of the other social media, and even to the point of having like in-person meetups, if that ever was a thing. If enough people were interested, but I haven't really got anything actually started in all reality. I mean, I created a Facebook group called San Diego Carnivores, but I'm the only member right now, so I don't think that counts yet.
There are quite a few carnivores in San Diego I know of. I mean, I know there's some there, so hopefully you guys can hook up. And it's always nice to have people that have similar interests and food preferences, because it makes it easier to cook.
Yep.
All right. Well, this has been very interesting and amazing, and I would be lying to say this is the first time I've seen this, but it's good to see it happening over and over again, both for you and your wife and your one of your sons. And hopefully, you know, I am undoubtedly sure that what you shared with us today will inspire at least a few people
Yeah.
to give this a go.
Yeah.
And great to see your let's see how things go. And as time will evolve, and hopefully you get more active. And I can tell you, as someone who is now in my late 50s, almost 60, you certainly can put on muscle, and you can get stronger and physically fit and active and change your life for the better as you get older and older. There's no reason you can't. So good for you.
Yep. And I do have I have a little, I don't know if I can show it on my camera, but I have a before and after.
Bring it in closer. Yeah, you can definitely see the outline. You're quite a bit bigger than before and after. Half the person. That's amazing. Good for you. Yeah, you should post that up online somewhere, and maybe even if you can send us a copy, we can use it as a visual representation of what you're describing, because that's quite amazing. Well, Shawn, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Any last words you want to share before we go?
Interestingly enough, I know it's not any part of the diet or anything else. One of the biggest comments I get from my family, my extended family, is that I now apparently look just like my dad. I don't know. I mean, my dad was skinny. He was always skinny his whole life. So I guess maybe that's just a funny little anecdote, if nothing else. I thought was interesting.
So, but people say it's genetic, and obviously you genetically didn't get 350 pounds. It's been environment. So,
Yep.
Wonderful. Thanks, Shawn. Appreciate it. Take care now.
Yeah, thank you.